Pardon? Just one sec. Oh, on now? Yeah, I'm ready to go on. Right now. Just give me a second, eh? Uh, no, I have. Ooh, Mexican. Love Mexican. Thank you very much. Alright. No, I told you I'm ready to go on. Like I said, right now. I'm on now. Oh, well, I'm sorry. Hello, everybody. I'm sorry about that. It'd be nice to have some floss right about now. But, nonetheless, here we are. This is Dan, and it's Tuesday, I think, towards the end of May. Once again, this is hypothetically. Usually, we talk about the current state of Batman on film with the pending release of Dark Knight Rises. Sometimes we talk about the history of Batman on film. Today, what I'd like to talk about is the future of Batman on film. And I think there's a couple things that we have to get into when we're talking about it. The first is that we're probably going to have to wait a while. It's about a decade before Batman Begins, so we had Batman and Robin, then a decade when Begins was picked up with Christopher Nolan, and in between then we had Joel Schumacher was going to do another one with Triumphant, and Darren Aronofsky was going to do Year One, and he's recently, as of a press junket that he was doing when he was attached with the Wolverine, he was still interested in doing a Year One. He said that he'd hop on it if he ever got the chance. But nonetheless, we had our own little interpretation of Year One, which one of my watchers has pointed out is it's Batman Year One from the perspective of Batman, because the Year One really was a Jim Gordon story for all intents and purposes. So that's one thing that we know for sure. The second one, and I guess it's kind of debatable. The second one is we're probably not going to be getting a Joker. Okay, so I'd like to expel that right now. That's my own thought. You know, we have Jack Nicholson, we've had Heath Ledger, and with these two performances and the way that he's been portrayed in the Arkham games, Under the Red Hood, so on and so forth, I think DC's going to want to step away from using the Joker on film. And for a while now, I've been hoping and praying that this is what was going to happen. And the way that The Dark Knight ended, I was really hoping that they would bring in my favorite villain. Hush. You know, day after day, week after week, we see Hollywood Ray busting out his knowledge of the comics, but most of them are the old standbys, the classics. It seems that a lot of people overstep Hush as a possible villain, that he's not one of the classics. I guess he's not, but I mean, in terms of Riddler, Joker, Penguin, Freeze, so on and so forth. Maybe he's not on their level, but that might be the grand thing. What Hush is, however, is Batman's equal in every possible way. He's brilliant. He is a genius physician. Um, he's a great tactician, marksman, and he is good with hand to hand. And I really do like how they portrayed him in Arkham City, and hopefully they're going to expand it on in the future video games, which is probably where they're going to be getting in the video games now that Joker's gone. I'm sorry if that spoiled anything for you. Um, but if you haven't played it, there is a side quest, a series of side quests involving Hush, and the surprise that Batman gets when he finally comes up to him. Anyway, I think it would be great for him to be used in a movie. It could it could show that Bruce Wayne wasn't always a loner. In fact, he did have friends when he was younger, and he was just one of them, Tommy Elliot, and he is the antithesis to Batman, in that he had parents that he wanted dead, and he was so peeved when Thomas Wayne saved him from the car crash that he got twisted, and he revealed his true side. You actually, I don't want to show too much. You get to see, sorry, you get to see kind of where they're going to be going with that, and the pages of Volume 1 of Hush. If I'm not mistaken, which it's very possible I could be. I'm just going to go through this here quickly. I don't want to take up a lot of your time, so I won't go through it. But in the pages of Hush, there is a few panels devoted to how Bruce and Tommy used to play as children, and how one was a great tactician and Bruce was always naive, and it actually showed that from early on, Tommy Elliot thought moves and moves and moves ahead. So when Bruce is playing his game with him, he thought of a move that was going to wipe out Tommy, but Tommy thought of Bruce's move before he even thought of it 2 turns ago. So, he was one of his friends. Another potential villain that could be used in the film, which would be great to see, is Roman Sionis. What I'm getting at here with the future of Batman on film is that I truly think that outside of the death of Bruce's parents, they really misuse Bruce Wayne's past as a child, because he really did have a lot of interactions with people that would go on to be a bigger part of his life, and people like Tommy Elliot, who came back as Hush, and that whole storyline was vital. With that storyline, the Riddler found out Batman's identity is Bruce Wayne, and Hush wouldn't take it. Hush didn't take it. Well, Riddler wouldn't give it, I guess. But then there is Roman Sionis Black, who goes on to be Black Mask. The two families kind of existed as a family of socialites, and they put on their facade that they got along, but behind closed doors they hated each other. And though well, the Sionists hated the Waynes. The Waynes really meant no harm to anybody, and that did carry over. Bruce Wayne always thought Roman as a friend when Roman took his parents' word on it that Wayne was his enemy, and after the cosmetics company was bought out by Wayne, he went nuts, and then we have Black Mask. And those are only two. And then of course there's Harvey Dent, who uh, who who is friend who can be coincided as friends with Bruce Wayne. So there's all these things that are overlooked in the movies that are present. You know, we always see Catwoman. This is the second time we've seen Catwoman in the movie. Second time we've seen, well, third actually. Third time we've seen Catwoman. Third time we've seen Joker. And these are characters that do have deep roots within the Batman mythos, but in the long haul of it, they don't really have a lot of history with the character Bruce Wayne. And the ones that do have a history with Bruce Wayne are the ones that I've always felt a connection to, the ones that I always wanted to read about, because especially in Hush, it was a sense of it was a major sense of a thrill. You know, it was very suspenseful. It kept me on the edge of my seat when I was reading them. You know, I had them in their monthly form. Now I have them as their trade paperback in their collected forms, and to this day it still holds up. It's still probably my favorite of the more modern stories of Batman, and I'd really like to see them use that. You know, it was a whodunit, is what it was. You know, Poison Ivy, Poison Ivy using Superman, Killer Croc, Catwoman, all these people, Scarecrow, and they were all being used by this villain. And then we also have this fight between Batman and the second Robin, Jason Todd. And this fight this fight is so horrific for Batman, for Bruce Wayne. And later he finds out that was Clayface, but then the next event to happen after Hush uh, was Red Hood in the return of Jason Todd, and it's revealed that it wasn't always Clayface. He actually did face down Jason Todd on one occasion. Even the other occasion, it was Clayface. Um, so that's where I think the future of Batman film should go. Explore the history of Bruce Wayne as a character instead of the origins of Batman. Because we really don't need another origin story. We don't need to be shown the alleyway again. We've seen that numerous times now. If I'm correct, the new Superman movie isn't going to be a whole origin story. It's going to go straight into where Superman has had his career, and that really is where the next Batman movie should pick up. We've had his origin story. We know his villains. We know his mainstay. So give us something new. Give us a veteran Batman, somebody who's been in the field, somebody who has his experience, and somebody who has a past, and a past that can actually affect him outside of his parents. Give us people that know his parents, know him personally, know things that they can use against Bruce Wayne. Because so far outside of maybe the Joker, nobody's really touched him on that emotional level. So I really hope that that's where they explore. But once again, we're probably not going to get to see that for maybe another, I'd say between 6 to 10 years before we get another Batman movie. Anyway, we're coming up on 15 minutes. So I'm going to have to let you go. Enjoy your evening.